Hey, Bird. Good morning. Hey, good morning. Yeah, my son was up all freaking night, man. Like 4 hours of sleep. I'm dragging ass right now, but I'm here for you. Those of you that don't know, I've got a 3.5 month old, 4 month old, and he's a monster at times, sometimes at night. So we'll let a few more come in. Little Elliott, little Satoshi, man. Down in this coffee quick though. So no Sam today, everyone. It's Monty, his partner. So you'll know that I do it a little bit differently. I do not use Elliott Wave really. I know it. I don't know it well because I don't practice it every day, but I do something that I've come up with myself over the years of sitting behind a computer. So I will do some Monty magic, as I call it, I guess, because I can't always tell you why it works. Or, I mean, with Elliott Wave, you've got rules and guidelines, and here's why this works, and here's why this is this. And with Monty analysis, who the hell knows? I've just seen it work time and time again. I buy it, I sell it based on that, and it works and it prints money. And so you'll see it live. I do teach in Trade Devils. I do teach my way, I guess. Um, but it's only for the educational members. And I tend to, I guess, name it all of the way, like Monty Fork or Monty Pull, because when I say it like that, you know what I'm speaking. I guess the members that know what it is, they know what I'm referring to, right? So if I just say do the fib pull that I do, right? That's too many words. Um, so I just do Monty pull, right? So it would be a Monty pull would be something like this, or you'd find the end and then you'd look for it to tag in here. And when I say do this, this is a Monty pull, right? This is your full pull. I also don't take a lot of wicks into consideration, right? Because here's the bottom and here's your algo tag. So then I start to look for confluences here. You've got a Monty pull 50 and you've got a full pull golden zone, right? So that's where I look for something like this. So anyway, we've enough of that. We'll dive into some members. So we've got High B Boy with Cake USDT macro. So obviously I'm on Cake. We've got a daily chart up right now. There's not a ton of a ton of price history. So you're kind of working with this, and I won't, when I'm actually, I guess, doing the analysis. I'm not going to speak the entire time like Sam does. Sam's very good at just rants while he goes through. Mine's a bit more thought-provoking, I guess, in the sense that I really dig down and do multiple things. Sam's very, very good at just on the flow, going with it and speaking. So there may be some times of dead silence, but you'll be able to watch and see what I do and see what comes out of it. But all right, how's the I guess the screen look? Is it big enough? I mean, I've got the overlays that Sam doesn't have, and of course chat up there. But how's it look? Is everything, you can see it all okay? BUSD. That would be a bit more. So yeah, I'll use that one. That would definitely change analysis a bit. I also always 99% of the time I'm in log. So anytime you try to replicate any of these and you pull it up and you're not in log, it's going to look like this when mine's like this. So I see that in the comments a lot. Hey, you did your full pull and mine's way down here. But if you're in linear, and also if you don't have fib levels based on log scale marked, then it's going to give you a different value. So let's just go ahead and start with a Monte perfect pull and see what we can find. Money. So you got your 1618 tap right there. It hit the -1 3 times. The third time it hit it much slower, less volume, with divergence likely, right? So here's your divergence. Right here, you had the higher high on the RSI, of course, your momentum indicator. Basically, here was your strongest push right here down. Next, here's your online chart. Here's your lowest low, right? But it's just about to be turning on the daily for the momentum indicator. And then from there, boom, off it goes. So this -1 perfect pull held beautifully. All right, so this would probably be a decent Monte pull. You can see the reaction here. We came into it, hit our heads, retraced, came up, rejected again, got above it, tested it for support, took off, rounded back through, fell through, resistance, hit the 1, resistance, hit the 1, right? Consolidate. Now we're hitting it again. So what we'll likely see is a tap and rejection, slight retracement, right? Who knows how far it'll go? Maybe it'll come back down here to these levels, right? And then try again. Get above it. That's your key. You don't want to be a buyer here. You can either be a buyer at support, or you can be a buyer on the retest once it gets back over this, just like here, right? It came through and then retest it immediately, or you can come up and it's going to come back and retest it again. But that's a decent rejection. You do not want to be buying in here. Another thing I use a lot is the fixed range tool. It shows you based on volume transacted that where, I mean, here's POC, here's value area high, here's value area low. But this would be a decent trade setup. Obviously a perfect test of value area low. Right, perfect. We haven't really tested POC yet. So that's one way. Wait for it to get above that 236. Second would be buying POC stop underneath value area low. And then at that point, likely be targeting, obviously you'd want to have some take profits in here. But if this is going to actually go, I think Hy-B Boy said he's got 70. And I could do some other things to figure out based on trend-based APP pools and things like that, where it would go. But just doing this, I would say 83. But we're likely going to be coming into resistance right now. All right, so Monte pull on the reverse is here. Okay. We hit our head here on the 236. Now hit this one. Potentially could get above to the 382. So our biggest headache is going to be right here. $25.70. I mean, you can see here anywhere, I guess. And you can see the wicks up here. But overall, the candle bodies and the rejections are right there. Let me use this. Anywhere in this range is going to be our biggest. Biggest resistance area. Obviously, you can see this 1618 perfect pull. I don't think it gets up there right now before we have a decent retracement back. That may be true, Nicholas, but I don't really care what it does as long as it moves. Doge is a meme, and you could have printed 15,000% on it this year. So as a trader, we don't really care. We don't give a shit what it does, we're in. We have a stop loss. I don't care about the fundamentals. All right, so log scale, original recipe here. We're just grinding up this. Obviously, if this were to hold as a pivot here, Sam loves to say 80% odds. That's pretty juicy. You can also do shift, right? And modified shift. And they both, all three of them work well. Right, there's only one little part that popped underneath before it took off. So now if we were to lay this back on top, right, then it were to hit this parallel right in our resistance zone that we previously made based on the other drawings, then you start to get confluence of maybe a retracement comes, right? Then at that point, you can have the shift. If we were to retrace, start losing levels, right? Get all the way back down here, try again, right? That's the trade setup I made, right? Here. And if you have this outer parallel as confluence, I don't think you'll get down here to the POC area. All right. So for the most part, High B Boy, I would say waiting to see if we can get over this Monte pull here that you see it's currently rejecting from. If we do, you're obviously already in, but you could potentially add on a retest of this or a retest of value area high. Your first bit of resistance is going to be here at 25.71. But ultimately, you said 70. I like anywhere in this area. Hey, Peter. I hope you're doing well. Enjoy your day at work. Make some money. Buy some crypto. All right. I think here was your target up here. So we're close. Use these pitchforks as well in log scale from the bottom, right? You can use these to see if they come in contact. If you've got a median, right? If we were to come and get this median right here, right? If we were to come up here and get this right there, sell it, right? Don't wait for this upper one, right? Sell some here. If it keeps going, maybe keep your moon bag, but here's the confluence you want. That here was your target of 70. If this thing is going to continue to pump and not give us a B, C, right, and come back down here to test these prior highs, then here's what you're looking for. All right. Now we've got Chris NL with Kava, and I've got him up here. So what is your view on this one? Do we keep internal, or should I go for the TP show that I have in mind? Or still a chance we go external with this one? Have the green call out as my moment of entry and price. Man, I don't love that ABC. That A, tiny B, tiny C. I'm sure you don't like it either, but well, so things that look like this, typically accumulation before a huge markup, right? If we go back and look at basically any USD pairing right before we popped, let's do. Well, that one just kind of went crazy. Trying to think of something that just stair-stepped its way up. Because a lot of coins did this, where it just walked up, right? And it's just creating what it seems like a bunch of 1-2s before finally you get this massive dilly out, right? And then it comes up, then it comes back, and you can either have it be an A, B, C, or you just kicking off a new external wave that's going to create a new high. Yeah, you don't like it either. This is the power of hindsight. Yeah, 2020, right? So RSI is above 50. Weekly looks good, RSI wise. And you can see right here, there's your headache level, and it looks like we're going to break it. So to me, this is just coiling up, right? It's just constant coiling up, building pressure until ultimately you pop out of this range that's been resistance on RSI, been resistance on the chart itself. That will get you up into these levels. With this much consolidation, I personally would not be looking here. You could sell your, I would probably move it something like this. Right, TP1, TP2, TP3, right? Hold one for new highs. I've already done some work for someone sometime. Sure as hell ugly though, isn't it? So just from a volume perspective, all right. Tag macro value area low, came down, tag macro POC before we took off. Now guess what? We hit our head on macro value area high while maintaining a pretty damn good trend line into this. So today is the first day that we're currently poking our head back over it after this explosion back, retesting. So I could see it come down, test this line again. Yeah, Chris, I would have your take profits at smart levels, make it a free ride, and then hold for Moon Boy. But you bought right in here. Should have used that Monte pool, baby, right there. There's your entry. So we're back underneath the 236 here. Macro value area high right there on the 382 as well. Because we've already fought it so much, obviously we're not going to go negative, but you would say, well, this 382 right here, target's going to be down here. Well, that's negative, so we don't have to worry about that. Yep. So this entire leg down plus this value area high, we're right at it again. So it's fighting it, but eventually when this thing breaks free, it's going to push, and it's going to push hard. So first TP, see where yours was. Yours was 21,844. Well, pretty close to this. But I think you could probably have it basically right up here with this swing failure pattern. Just have it right up here at this 618. Have them sweep that high and potentially drop then, right? Maybe even come all the way back down to macro value area high. But from a distribution standpoint, I would potentially alarm that, I guess. Once you get over that, you're basically ensured that you're going to get here. And I would have your second take profit right up in here at the bearish value area high. Oh, I don't know if y'all can hear that. My house is shaking from SpaceX. They're about 10 miles from me. They're Texas, where they test all of the rockets. So my entire house shakes while they test the huge rockets. What do you know? We hit our head on. Right, put this back on. Now it makes sense why we hit our head here, and we've just been converging between this median line here, macro value area high, and this trend line. You're just creating a ton of pressure between all of these that eventually you're going to pop. And we've got a little bit of confluence over here. Oh, look where we got some more confluence right there. If we break down, you could always use this as a means of an outer parallel, right? If we break down, come back up here and ride this, still, you might get that move up. Likewise, if we get external and we come up here, say we hit, right, come hit macro value area high and go up, then you've got a potential roadmap for, and of course I use the daily line here on this pull. You could use this one, but guess what? You're out of it already. So that's why I like to do the Monte analysis here that you all know I love. See what kind of perfect pull targets we have. Oh, baby. 2618. Hit our head on the 236. There's no coincidence that you've got 618 on this POC and the -1 right in the golden zone 50 area with that top. So that's a good TP1 here. Move your stop up, probably under macro value area high. Make it be in profit. I know you got in right around it here, but make it be in profit, and just if you get wicked out after taking that, you made some money. You can reevaluate. But I don't think, once with this amount of coiling up, I don't think it's going to pop and then retrace. I think it's going to push up, probably up into value area high. All right. Be sure to keep me informed on that one. Let me know how it goes. I guess I can alarm this. All right, all right. What about Bitcoin bearish divergence all over the place and seems to still grind up? Well, you can have bearish divergence forever until a strong push comes and eliminates it, right? Like everyone's trying to short it because there is bearish divergence, but how long does all you have to do with bearish divergence is create a new high, right? So, for example, here, let's say we had a new high. Well, guess what? We've got bearish divergence. What happens when this happens, right? You get a strong push, and now guess what? You don't have bearish divergence anymore. You eliminated that by creating that new high, that new push. And you've been shorting this entire way because of bearish divergence that was ultimately eliminated anyway. So bearish divergence in a strong potential bull trend, uptrend, you're just giving your money away if that's what you're doing. If you're shorting, you just ride it until you have a nasty drop, right? Then you come up and resell the retest. If that's what you want to do, is just get the most out of it. Top hat, I do still owe you TCP, don't I? I said I'd get you that Monte analysis, and I dropped the ball. The crypto prophecies. The fuck? Bam. There was your entry based on the Monte pool from here. Potential entry anyway, right? I would have said buy that one, probably get stopped out. Buy here, if I had the orders waiting, I would have instantly been in some really nice profit, but then still trends down. And then your third target, boom, got a nice rounding bottom. Probably would have held on to that one. And then your target on the way back is the golden zone. And then obviously if you get above it with another rounding bottom, get up above, come back and retest. There's your buy. That's how I play these anyway. You don't want to, hello, that's a hell of a stop. 153% stop. No, thank you. You probably tighten this up a little bit. There's once this breaks out, so here's value area high, POC that we're basically right at, and value area low. So your safest stop would be under POC if you popped above, came back. All right, so here would be the pull I would use. When I do the Monte pull to begin with, I start, of course, at the line. Then I will use this wick to go from here all the way down, and you can see right here how golden zone got us, right? You wouldn't know this golden zone's there until the bottom's made. Likewise, once it got underneath the 50, dropped, hit the 38, hit the 50, hammer down again, right? So that's how you know that these pulls are active. Same way, popped above the 50, came back, rejected down to 38. Now we're creating a nice little, looks like inverse head and shoulders. I don't trade those really, but you've got this nice rounded bottom here. MACD pointing up on the daily. Strength indicator still pushing up, even though we had that drop. So just at this accumulation, or I guess distribution range here, you can see POC is here. We spiked above it for just a second. I think if we go and attack that again, we're going to get through it. All right, just from this uptrend, here's our value areas. So we're above the POC. Unless we lose that top hat, unless we do something like this and reject, right, you'd be looking at getting back down here, right? Looks like we've got a order block down here that you can That's a day. It's a 12-hour. Let's see if we've got a daily. We do not have a daily, but we've got a 12-hour down here. So I'll make this white. But you can see we've got another one over there, right? So you've got really good confluence here that this is a big area. I'm not saying we get down here. Just saying if we do, because that's a monstrous drop from where we're at. Unless the market just shits itself. It's 54% down. I don't see this happening. If we do, buy it. Right? I've got some money at KU, so I'll alarm that. What I would think is come here, potentially retest this POC that we've got. And remember, we've got these as well, right? So there's your, forgot about that one. So maybe if we rejected, we would only get to here. Nonetheless, if we get here, buy the shit out of it. But if we were to come down, test these POCs, right? Macro POC and uptrend POC. First headache would be, of course, getting out of this, getting above the 50. But then you've got this full pull, 618. You pop above it hard, right? A lot of times it comes back and retests them. So that could be potential. You know, if you sell a big pop up here, say you've got some confluence up here to sell, you could always rebuy back here. Your stop would be probably, I would take this area, right? And have stop underneath that POC. So it's probably, I guess, just a 50. Let's look for some upper targets now. Both right at the exact high, so it doesn't matter which one I use. Right, so it could do this. Come up, hit that 236 and go. It could pop harder, hit the 618, come back and hit that. But that's what I'd be looking for. Overall, I would have to say target for me, if this is going to continue to go, the market won't nuke. I'd say right in here, 4. And we're sitting at 16. Wow. Looks a bit crazier when you do it in linear, right? So in linear, you can see we're stuck right here in the golden zone. Don't take what I say as fact, right? I'm just doing how I do my analysis. I look for confluence points based on what I do. I mean, Doge went 15,000%, right? 2,800 is no big deal in crypto. You go on Uniswap and get that in 2 days. But in the current climate, we don't know if we're bearish or bullish.